But when we went to get either beer or spiked seltzer, we were deciding what do we want, because we were really feeling those spiked seltzers. There was a stack of...
see where this is going.
There was a stack. Right. Guess what happens to the stack?
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
A lifetime has passed since our last episode.
It really does.
When
feel
was
that
the
way.
last time we recorded an episode?
I don't know, but I did. I do remember that I didn't feel great about it.
I remember that, and it wasn't that bad an episode.
I thought it was not. I felt like we had been on a heater, and that one kind of took the notch down.
The
little
episodes have gotten better of late, and you're right. You did ruin that last episode.
Yes,
I am remembering.
I
now.
came away not feeling
You were very bad.
not
on that
feeling like I
episode.
contributed very much.
But seriously, I can't. Well, I'll tell you. Maybe this doesn't bode very well for it. I don't remember a thing of that. The only thing I remember is when we were done, you were like, "Not our best," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't think it was particularly bad." But I don't remember a single. What did we talk about?
God, I don't even know. The Bruins? Yeah, the Bruins were.
We
in
talked
the
a little
Stanley
bit
Cup.
about the Bruins in the Stanley Cup,
And
but we
your
were both saying
confidence level.
we didn't care to talk about it.
Yeah.
What else? Did we watch
what was
anything?
even the name of the episode? I don't even recall.
Also, like legitimately, when did we record it? It couldn't have been last week.
It was last week.
I mean,
It was Wednesday because the Bruins played on
Wednesday.
Thursday.
No, Wednesday was the game 7. There's no way we did it Wednesday.
Wasn't Thursday the game 7?
No, Wednesday.
Maybe then we recorded Tuesday because we recorded the day before game 7.
Okay, what could we have been talking about? Were we still on the
I don't know, but
thing?
the only way to follow up a maybe bad episode is to then spend the next episode just talking about the bad episode.
Oh no, that's true. See, now you're in your head.
No. I'm just making a joke.
Okay.
It was called Too Many Johns. Someone has tried spiked seltzer.
I remember. Okay, I remember Too Many Johns was like the only time that either of us laughed.
Okay.
I do. So I think I edited that episode, and I think I said Too Many Johns, and like you had a little chuckle, and I was like, all right, well, there's the big laugh for that episode.
And if we're looking for what was in that episode, additionally,
It was after Pride.
Yeah, right. Now, I mean, I'm just saying, like, based off the description is not much help because it just says DJ and Pete go to the grocery store.
Oh, right. We didn't talk enough about the grocery store, by the way.
Well, that's because I don't remember the grocery store.
So when we went to the grocery store, and now listeners, at first it's like, if you missed last episode, hey, cool, you got away with one. You didn't have to hear a bad episode. Now it's becoming required listening for this part. When we went to the grocery store, we walked in, we were both beyond buzzed, and we went straight for the cafe section of Wegmans, got us some iced coffees.
Oh, man, it was a Wegmans that we went to?
Yes.
Damn.
You don't even remember which grocery store we went to? That is awesome. Pete had a blackout grocery store experience.
That was my first Wegmans trip, too.
Well, so you don't remember anything about this grocery store?
Not really.
Because there was a huge thing that happened, and it wasn't you.
Really?
Okay, so we got
Hell
iced,
yeah.
we got.
How did this take 2 weeks?
I know. And now in hindsight, we were really stretching for good content last week, and we left out the good story.
We had nothing to talk about last week.
Okay, so and this week we're pretty loaded, so it only does make sense to dip back into it to like 2 weeks ago. We went in there, and I probably said something cocky like, "All right, check out this pro move." Went over, got us a couple of iced coffees, even though I'd never done that before. Got us some cold brews, as you call them.
Yes,
that's probably one of my favorite things you've invented. Is right, because even though they're called cold brews, you're the first person I ever heard switch the emphasis to make them cold brews. We got ourselves a couple of cold brews, and just walked around the grocery store, getting everything we wanted. There was a stack of styrofoam coolers, which
if you're gonna knock something over, it might as well be styrofoam coolers.
Very light, very clean.
Yes, yeah.
Unless, what if you put a cold brew on top of?
Oh no!
So went to get something from the fridge, put the cold brew on top of the stack of styrofoam coolers, and of course, like even beyond buzzed, we should have known you can't put a quarter on top of that without it falling over. So put it on it, immediately fell over, spilled, real mess, and that was...
Did we attract any attention?
We didn't, and I was kind of annoyed because I felt bad. I wanted us to get to the bottom of it. I used to work at a grocery store.
Same.
I've cleaned. I've been the cleanup on aisle Dave guy before, and there was nobody around, and I felt bad that somebody was going to happen upon it.
Oh, did we just book it out of there?
We walked around, or I did. I don't. You may have not have even seen it from,
Right.
from what I'm hearing now.
I vaguely remember an iced coffee being spilled now that you mention it.
Yeah.
But I don't remember like the circumstances of it.
You still crushed your cold brew and then came back, and we had dogs and burgers and listened to music and stuff. So you had.
I remember the porch chilling. That I
Yeah.
just don't remember like the hour or so before that.
That's a big... I don't know if I said this last week. If so, we're bringing all the good stuff from last week onto this one. But that's a big wedding move. I do that. At the end of a wedding reception, I make sure that I get some coffee.
Okay.
Because my body just doesn't have it to last and like party past like more than 2 hours of drinking. Everything in me just wants to go to bed. So I actually did that when I was in Charleston. We did like a big nice dinner, and at the end of the dinner, I got coffee at like 10:30, and my friends thought that was weird.
It doesn't keep you up?
No, it just barely holds my body back from falling asleep.
All right.
Just I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, same, and it doesn't necessarily like affect me like it affects other people in terms of drinking it late. Like I know there are people that are like, I can't have coffee after 6 o'clock, or
Right.
I'm not going to sleep tonight, and I can do coffee after dinner. I love coffee after dinner, but I don't know if I could do it at like 10:30 if I was going to bed anywhere before like 3 o'clock.
I was going to say it's a funny observation that you ended up needing coffee to just make it to like a little cookout situation.
Yeah.
But in hindsight,
Did I need it? Am I the one who said that I needed it?
No, I'm saying like you went right back after and died.
Yes.
But it's not weird because that's just your classic day drink.
Yeah. I mean, I would have made it no matter what. Like, and I'll say made it in quotation marks.
Well, yeah, like the possibility of food is like the little carrot
Yes,
that
yeah.
still kind of keeps you going.
Yeah. I mean, I would have made it. No, I think no matter how much I'm drinking, I will continue going until like I literally like cannot anymore. Coffee is not going to save me either way.
See, that's where introducing coffee can be a little dicey because then you're playing with your body is still up
It's a
and
PED.
functioning beyond when your body is like, my body is so drunk that I'm
Right.
not supposed to be awake anymore.
Right. All right.
So
I'm
it-
glad you saved that story.
Yeah. It took 2 weeks for us to make last week's episode a good one, but I feel that we finally did it.
All right.
But yeah, it has been forever. The Bruins have since lost the Stanley Cup final. I don't know if we care to talk about that. I'm very annoyed with people who are like, stop saying that it was like an upset. The Blues won, so therefore they're the better team and blah blah. Like, I hate when people act like the better team can never lose.
Right. I mean, well, it's
Like the Patriots were undefeated in 2007, went into the Super Bowl with a shitty game plan and lost. You want to tell me that the friggin' Giants, whose defense came alive in the playoffs, was the best team that year? Get out of my face.
Right. I mean, sports is stupid if the better team always wins, because then there's no surprises.
Then why do
there's
we-
no
right.
upsets.
Right.
So
you want to tell me Columbus was better than Tampa?
right. No. I mean, I also saw that people were criticizing you for saying that it was a choke.
It was. The series was a choke.
I don't. Yeah. Like
Game 7 went once the second goal in Game 7 happened, it should not have been expected for the Bruins to win.
I would say, I feel like choke takes away too much from the Blues.
Choke is disrespectful. And
Yeah,
that's
it is.
the only thing. It's totally for lack of a better term thing.
I would say the Bruins blew it rather than the Bruins choked.
Right. So then, but then you're.
It's
like,
pretty much the same
they're
thing.
cousins.
But yeah. Right. I feel like one gives a little bit more respect to St. Louis.
Yeah, I'll give. St. Louis ended up doing what the Bruins were supposed to do, which is like make the best of an awesome opportunity. And the opportunity that ended up being presented to the Blues was, by the time they reached the Stanley Cup final, the best remaining team kind of laid down. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
It's still, the wound is still fresh. But congratulations to. Are we giving Gloria back to St. Louis officially?
Officially, we aren't.
Okay.
We're gonna sit on it a little longer this summer. You can still say, hey, we learned over the weekend. You can still celebrate even if you lose the Stanley Cup. So,
Oh my God.
Bruins fans,
I got some criticism for that.
What was your take?
My take was that I'm fine with them partying. I'm fine with the Bruins players partying. Whatever. They deserve to blow off some steam. But hey, maybe leave the skiing goggles and shirtless dancing on top of the bar at home.
We have very similar takes. My biggest issue was with the Grand or whichever graphics person was working that night, that it said congratulations Bruins.
Yeah, but that's not
That
even
made
the
it
Bruins'
look like
fault.
they were right. It's not, but it gave off the appearance more of celebrating, and I don't know that they would tell you that they were necessarily.
Well, it certainly looked
celebrating.
like celebrating when Brad Marchand is on a dude's shoulders with ski goggles on, like dancing.
Here's my
shirtless.
defense of him, though. What if he began the night drinking it off, and then next thing you know, you're a drunk person, and as long as you're not breaking the law, you can kind
Sure.
of pass stuff off on, hey, that wasn't me.
Sure, but at some point, I think you have to realize that
the night got away from me. He can say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it did, but at some point you have to have like the wherewithal to realize that you're in Boston, a few days removed from losing Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and that maybe you shouldn't be in ski goggles without a shirt, like tearing it up at the Grand.
What kind of thing
Go
that
somewhere
normally
else.
you're not supposed to celebrate would you like to go
What?
out and celebrate? What kind of thing that you normally are not supposed to celebrate would you like to go out and celebrate?
A death. That's a big one.
Well, that's big in Europe,
Yes,
right?
I don't know.
They have the what are they called? Irish
Irish
wakes?
funerals?
Irish
Irish
wakes.
wakes, yeah.
I'd for sure, and they do that in The Wire as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I
I don't think that's Europe though.
What's that?
I don't think that's Europe.
No, it's
But there is Amsterdam.
I don't think anyone knows where The Wire takes place.
Yeah, right.
That's one of those shows where like they never show license
It's
plates.
a nondescript.
Right.
Place.
It's like The Simpsons.
Yes.
It's the city actually is. They never say a city in
No.
The Wires, right?
No, yeah.
In The Wire.
It's I don't even know if it's the United States. I mean, they're speaking English, but you never know.
The main actor and what's the politician's name? Carcetti.
Yes.
He's in Sing Street.
He's also in Game of Thrones.
He is.
Yeah, we've had this
I
discussion.
thought they were two different people. And I like made up a talk show host
You
guy
think
to
that-
be like, yeah.
Every time this guy appears in a different show, you just think it's like a different version of the same guy.
Yeah, I don't understand the confusion.
You don't understand the profession of acting.
Exactly. Wait, so
it's
this guy, not only is he an actor, he's also a politician, and it's a Game of Thrones. So he's a dragon. Wow, this guy. Hey, this guy wears
looks
a lot of hats.
This guy looks exactly like the mayor from The Wire, except he plays a music agent. Or
Yes.
he is a music agent. So good for him.
Speaking of, when's he a music agent?
Or a manager in Rocket Man.
Oh, right. He's what's his face?
Or not Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right, but he's also in. Right? Oh no! Somebody else plays him.
Yes,
I forget
also
the
from
guy's
Game of
name.
Thrones, Richard Madden.
Really?
Yeah, also from Game of Thrones. So if they make what's
Oh,
the guy's
I
name?
know who Richard Madden is.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
in Rocket Man.
If they what's that guy's name? The manager.
I'm drawing a blank, but he worked with Queen and he worked
Right.
with.
I mean, if he manages a different
John Reed.
If John Reed manages other famous actors who are getting biopics, congratulations to the cast of Game of Thrones because they're staying in business.
On the subject of Sing Street and people we love who have been in musical movies. So you're thinking, oh, what's he going to say about Lucy Boynton? Wrong. Talking about Lily James, everybody. Mm-hmm. Talking about her in Baby Driver. Talking about her in a little film called Mamma Mia 2. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. You might know it as that. By the way, haven't watched that in forever. And I know that, like, I'm kind of overdue. So by the time I watch it, it is really, really gonna pop. Love that movie. Yesterday comes out a week from now, and I've realized I'm kind of that movie has gone from, oh, I'm really excited to see it, I hope it's good, to like, this better rule.
Why? What put it over the edge?
I don't know. I'm just like very, very excited for it. And if it's bad, I'm going to end up being more disappointed. Like, I don't care that Across the Universe is a stupid, horrible movie. I hope that triggers a lot of people, because maybe you're realizing as I say it, oh, wait, that is a stupid, horrible movie. Across the Universe sucks. If this ends up being Across the Universe, I'll be very disappointed.
I don't think that's like a controversial take. I think a lot of people
agree. Are making fun of it right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are mocking it. Shouts out Kellen. He's big time mocking
Really?
it. Yeah.
Okay. I know Jeff Lowe does not like Across the Universe either.
Good. It's about time he had a correct music movie take.
I'm excited for Yesterday. I think it's a cool premise. But I don't know. I feel like there's a pretty significant chance that it falls flat.
I think that morally, it's like a weird premise. Like, at any point, does this guy feel bad?
Yeah, I'm sure that
something that, I don't know, technically doesn't exist.
I'm sure that that's going to be addressed in the movie, and if it doesn't address that, then they're missing a huge fucking plot point.
If there's this has happened, by the way, in movies, of course. If you've seen Hot Tub Time Machine, Rob Corddry's character goes back in time, right? And he creates Apple. And he also writes Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue.
Really?
Which is like a hilarious combination.
I'm going to pick this.
Like, I'm going to make all this money this one way, and also, what a song Home Sweet Home is. I'm going to pretend I wrote that. If you could have nothing exist and you can totally take credit for it and invent it, what would it be?
Oh, man. It's a good question.
Like, part of it is like, oh, man, I wish I could be Obama instead of Obama. Like, just like this
I would
great
not be
man.
a politician.
Right, but then you're like, I wouldn't want to be a politician.
Right. I think I would pick like a really easy invention that was like, oh man, like
So
I wish I thought of that first.
This has to be something that you're going to remember how to do and how to make. Because if you go back in time before cars existed, if you're like, hey, let's make cars, and they're like, what's that? Oh, no, it's a room you sit in that moves around. Like, yeah, cool, man. Good luck making that.
Could never found Apple because you'd be like, oh, you know, it'd be great.
It's a computer, but it's a good kind of computer.
Yeah, and
they're like,
also,
well, computers don't exist yet.
Right,
so good
and
luck.
take the computer and put it in a phone, and they're like, what the fuck is a computer? And also, what the fuck is a phone?
Yeah.
So, I would make like the sham wow or something.
Yeah. Something where you can kind of like pick
the
your spots.
Snuggie. I'd make the fucking Snuggie, man.
Make
I'd
TC
be
Tuggers?
rich as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I would want to make. Like, there's always things that you see that you're like, oh man, I wish I thought of that, and I wish I did that. But I don't. Mine could potentially be just like steal all the Beatles shit. That'd be rad.
I mean, you have the musical acumen to like actually like if somebody had
So here's the thing:
put the blueprint in front of you, you could be like, ooh, this is great.
If the Beatles went away right now, and this is an issue I have with the movie, and I got in some arguments last night. This kid also has to have perfect pitch. Perfect pitch is where you can hear any sound and know what note it is, where you can hum any note off the top of your head. And an annoying thing about people who do music, especially if you've ever been in chorus or anything like that, every kid in the world decides they have perfect pitch and they fucking don't, and it's really annoying. It's I can't think of an equivalent. It would be like an average person walking around saying they have photographic memory when they don't. But there's like some other like things that people can have with pitch. Like I know like what like the starting notes of like songs are if I've heard them before, and I can just like hum them off the top of my head. But I think a lot of people can do that just from memory. But this kid has to have some semblance of perfect pitch to not only remember how every Beatles song goes, but which key they're in, because when they're playing them in the commercials and everything, he's singing them in their original key. So that, in addition to the fact that suddenly the Beatles would just be wiped off the earth, is an unrealistic thing. And I don't know. I just hope that it's explained.
Yeah, there are
Also,
ways that this movie can really fall flat.
Right. I was
I'm
going to say
excited.
also the other surprising thing, and this goes against my anybody can be with anybody thing. It seems that that this guy gets like too cool for Lily James,
Absolutely not.
get out of here, buddy.
You're right.
I don't know. Like, you could literally become Paul McCartney, and this guy's okay looking, but he's not like a cutie pie like Paul
No.
was when he was a kid.
And also, after the
you are no one can do better than Lily James.
And also, after the crash that wipes out the Beatles, he loses at least one tooth, and it's a front tooth. It's a prominent tooth.
Ooh,
As soon as that guy
that go
loses,
one of two ways though.
what?
You, like it's a battle scar type.
He's not a
thing.
hockey player.
Right.
He doesn't have
He just
toughness.
sucks at
He's
riding
playing
his
the
bike.
fucking Beatles
Right.
with one tooth. So as soon as that guy loses a tooth, Lily James has got to be out of there.
I'm excited for it. I really, really hope it's good. And I don't think that it can be as bad as Across the Universe. Across the Universe sucks. Although I like that guy, Jim Sturgis, whatever he's been doing lately.
The one thing from the trailer that makes me really nervous for this movie,
Ed Sheeran?
Yes,
Ed
Ed
Sheeran is
Sheeran Hey Dude
The
joke.
Hey Dude part, oh my
Terrible.
God.
Terrible.
I'm going to be sitting in the theater, and old women are going to laugh at that, and I am going to my tongue is going to be bleeding from how much I'm biting it.
Yes, and I had that experience this week watching a movie. I watched Dumbo finally this week, and
The
did you
Arcade Fire one?
Yes.
How was it?
It was not very good. It was okay. But there was a point in the movie where they bring out either Bruce Buffer or Michael Buffer. You know, the Let's Get
Bruce
Ready to
Banner?
Rumble guy? Yes.
Yeah.
No, the UFC Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Is that what that guy's name is?
Yeah, it's one of them. So he comes out for the
Rene
circus.
Rancourt, whatever.
He comes out for the circus part of Dumbo, and he says, "Let's get ready for Dumbo." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Ugh.
Yeah. At that point, I was like really lost.
Oh, man. Well, that's not the worst movie we're going to talk about today, because I finally watched Downsizing at your request, and that movie is
A real piece of shit. You know what's not, though? HelloFresh.
I know.
Yes. We never had the discussion that it might be.
Okay.
Okay. It's a meal kit delivery service that shops plans.
Don't make it look like I thought that HelloFresh wasn't good.
Okay. A meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so that you can cook, eat, and enjoy. They have simple meals that make conquering the kitchen a reality with simple recipes. They do all the meal planning, shopping, and prepping for you so you can just focus on a healthier you and a happier family. Their cooking is also enjoyable and easy because they give you the fresh pre-measured ingredients, and they have 6-step easy-to-follow recipe cards that are delivered right to your door along with the meals. You look confused.
This look like a confused face?
Yeah.
No, I was like staring daggers at you.
Angry or confused.
It was staring daggers.
Well, if you would like to spend less time meal planning, and
Keep my
grocery
name out your
shopping,
mouth when you're talking about HelloFresh.
all the meals come together in 30 minutes max, call for less than 2 pots and pans, and they require minimal cleanup. And they're delicious, obviously. There are 3 plans to choose from: classic, veggie, and family, with the option to switch between them when your tastes change. Their fun, enjoyable menu features include dinner to lunch, 20-minute meals, gourmet, and one-pot wonders. So get the most out of those recipes and start cooking now. I can personally endorse HelloFresh because they continue to send me things
Bogart, all of
without
them.
sending you things. I did get a complaint this week
That's
on
going around with some of our sponsors.
I know.
Can't
It's
wait
real
to plug away in a
contagious.
little bit.
At first, I felt bad because I was like sort of hogging them. Now I'm trying to spread the wealth, and they just don't want any part of you.
Yeah.
So they're just sending me stuff. I also found out this week that they're not sending people aprons, apparently. Some listeners had subscribed to HelloFresh after we gave them the nice endorsement, and I said, hey, they send you a nice little apron every time, and they're not getting aprons.
Really?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm fucking stockpiling aprons over here. And
Let's autograph aprons and send them to the people who
Ooh,
didn't get them
that's a good
for
idea.
a nominal fee.
Patreon only, yes. So if you want $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/brunch80 and enter promo code brunch80. That's HelloFresh.com/brunch80, promo code brunch80 for $80 off your first month. Boom.
Does Taylor Swift stink now?
Too soon to tell. Too soon to tell.
We know the trademarked rule and plan of attack.
That's becoming like a well-known phenomenon.
I hate that everyone. That kind of rattles me.
It does because we didn't get enough credit for it.
It should be called
the brunch theory.
We.
Whatever. All right. It's your idea, but you put it on brunch, so it now belongs to me.
Okay. It should. Yeah. The Pete theory. Yeah, but everyone's acting like they've just come up with it.
Right. There are think pieces now about.
Are they really?
Yeah, I've seen some lengthy pieces about Taylor Swift's rollout strategy.
Man.
So the newest song that came out last week or this week, I'm not sure, is "You Need to Calm Down."
Yeah, it sucks.
It's better than me.
Right, but I'm losing. It'll come back, but I'm just like losing interest in Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Like I'm suddenly starting to think like
when
Taylor Swift comes out with a new song, I don't need to hear it right away, and that's like an indifference that
I
I've
do
not
need to hear
felt
it right
with
away.
Taylor Swift.
I do need to hear it right away, but I will say Taylor Swift doesn't have a lot of room to slip because there's a lot of good pop stars out there now that are worth my time. Namely Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah, there always will be. I hate that. I don't like that. I got to shout out Ellen. She raised the question, is Carly Rae Jepsen
You want to know why she raised the question? Because
Why?
I said it.
Oh.
So she jacked it from me, and now I'm jacking it from her.
Okay. I don't think that that's a good take. I think that you can do that as long as you're willing to compare apples and oranges in other ways. Like Carly Rae Jepsen plays to a very different audience than
For sure.
Taylor Swift. They make different kinds of music, but because they both fall under the white girls who do pop umbrella, they'll get compared to each other. Same reason I don't like when people say, what's the big deal with Beyonce? Rihanna's better than her. I'm like, why can't... They're very different. Why can't you enjoy both? Just because they're both like non-white women who chart, that doesn't mean that they're the same.
But the context of me comparing them was like I get more excited about the possibility of new Carly Rae Jepsen music more than Taylor Swift at this point. I think.
That also shows a little sophistication on your part. That because everything that Carly Rae Jepsen does isn't going to be like a top 40 automatic hit. She's gonna do more stuff that. She knows she has her fan base. She knows that they're going to like it, so she can do something that's not necessarily going to be a smash hit. And I think that's that just shows that you don't necessarily want the easy thing. You want the thing that you like.
Yeah, and going back to the comparison between the two, like they are very different, especially in like the way maybe like the way that they approach the music. Like Taylor Swift doesn't have the sort of self-awareness I think that Carly Rae Jepsen does, or like she's more willing to go outside of the box or be more adventurous, and it doesn't always end well. And I think that like you can give her credit for being like not being in that box or like being quote unquote brave or courageous to explore like different types of genres. But I do appreciate the self-awareness that Carly Rae Jepsen has, that she knows what she's good at, and she like tries to like just perfect that and really dig in on what she's done well.
I would say that the biggest piece of the pie in Taylor Swift's demographic is teenage girls, and I would say the biggest piece of the pie in Carly Rae Jepsen's demographic is men in their 20s.
I think that's the biggest piece of the pie for her?
For Carly Rae Jepsen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really? I know that she's very popular.
Of course, like girls love her and everything, but I would say that like most of the big Carly Rae Jepsen fans I know are men, and like a lot of gay men, obviously.
Right, she's like a gay icon.
She's Carly Rae Jepsen is like today's Cher.
Well, I mean, we had this discussion. No, we had it at Pride with regards to was it Cher? It was Cher because we were talking about Mamma Mia.
Sounds right.
Yes. But yeah, no, the new song I don't think is awful. I will say I was expecting better for a second single, because she usually has like not necessarily like a heater, but like a real promising second single.
Yeah. She's getting no, not necessarily. I mean, she went ready for it with her second single last time.
That's true, but that's true.
I do agree. You want to step in the right direction, and you could say, you could say that you like this better than me. I don't like either of them, and I think that maybe it's just that this has happened so many times that I'm getting sick of it. But I could use a "We Are Never Getting Back Together" right now.
If this second single, if You Need to Calm Down, is more indicative of what the album is going to bring, and I do think it is, there is promise there because I like the style that she went with this song.
She's getting some shit for suddenly being very pro-gay. I guess I kind of I understand that you could say like, hey, this is what took you so long, but also I think that when someone that important and with that big of a voice,
right,
it's finally does it, even if it took longer than you thought. I think that's huge.
It's big, yeah. And I mean, she would get criticized for not saying something or not supporting it if she stayed quiet. So I did see that she was getting criticism for like inserting herself in like the LGBTQ like discussion and trying to like, I don't know if she's been called like trying to make herself a poster girl for it, but like I just think that that's sort of like a reach. You're criticizing somebody for supporting.
I would just say, like,
good
if she's
thing.
doing that, then like use the hell out of her. Like,
right?
use it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It smells like cigarettes. Getting like a wafting of cigarettes
Not
here.
enough.
You are a big cigarettes guy. No, but yeah, I just like that's everybody wants to criticize her for everything at this point in time.
Oh yeah,
and it's like I get it, but also, come on.
Yeah, I was annoyed with remember like the I wrote about how Taylor Swift hasn't denounced Trump.
Right.
Which like she's got nothing to do with him.
Right.
And yes, I'd love her to, but I don't but if you need Taylor Swift to tell you that Trump's a dick for you to think, maybe Trump's a dick, then you're an idiot.
Right. Also, when I was listening to the song, I was like, is this song about Trump? Because it easily could be about Trump.
I haven't listened to it enough. The second time I heard,
but I mean,
you just need to take several seats, my head exploded from douche chills, and then I turned off the song.
Yeah, I mean, just like look at the lyrics. A lot of it, she talks about like going after people you don't like in tweets, things like that. So
unfortunately, she could be talking about
anybody. But what did you think about the video?
It was good and cool and colorful, and I like that all the people that were involved. So that's a cool. Like that's where I would say. It. Like you should feel positive about Taylor Swift and how she's getting involved in areas where maybe she's overdue to get involved. But also, you could say I can see the cynic in me says like, you see. How Casey Musgraves had such a big year, and it was really a continuation of her like always being all in on like the gay community and trans people and just everybody being super inclusive. That's kind of always been Casey Musgraves' thing. And as she blew up this year, her voice there kind of blew up along with it. I can get the sense, like, when I see that video that I'm like, Taylor Swift saw, like, oh, this is working for Casey Musgraves. Maybe I should do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also, I think...
But again, like as long as she is doing it, just use her.
Right, there is like a, this is cool, it's cool to be, like, woke.
Right, like, I want to play now.
Yeah, right. So, I understand that part of it, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Right. So the criticism may be well-founded, but it's not necessally needed.
Yeah, my biggest criticism of Taylor Swift right now is that her songs stink and that she needs to start making better ones. We there are just a ton of Father John Misty developments over the last week. He began his tour with Jason Isbell. I will, Stephen A. Smith voice, I will be in the building on Saturday for their show in Philadelphia. I'm very excited. He, as his encore the other night, first thing, before he played his new song, Time Makes Fools of Us All, which I don't know if you've heard it. This might be like your favorite Father John Misty song because it's very synthy.
Oh, hell yeah.
But he introduced it. He said, this is a new song, and I'd like to dedicate it to Kevin Durant. Get well soon, buddy. And started playing it. The least surprising thing, or like the least surprising celebrity friendship in the world might be Josh Tillman and Kevin Durant.
Why do you say that?
Because everyone's just complaining about both of them, whether or not they have reason to, or just like when you bring up Kevin Durant, it's like when you bring up Father John Misty.
Like, that guy's an asshole.
Oh, this guy again. What's his problem? What? Can we just get to the bottom of what's that guy's problem?
There is definitely like a what's that guy's problem stench on both of those guys.
I could so see those guys just sitting there having coffee, not saying a word, and then it wrapping up and then being like, that was good hangs. All right. See you later. And people walking by them being like, ugh, the two worst people in the world.
I did see that he had a Star is Born rejected song that he played on stage.
Yeah, he mentioned during the show that it was like the only tour, because one of their I think their first show streamed, and he said that it was like the first tour of people who wrote songs for A Star is Born, and like there was kind of some confusion in the audience, and he was like, "Oh no, like I did submit a song for A Star Is Born, and it was rejected." He said there would be like no place in the movie for the song, and it would just be horrible for the movie. And then he came out for his encore and started playing it, and then got his band to play along, even though they had clearly never heard the song before.
It's fucking hilarious.
As long as you've got yours, baby, I can go and get mine. I'll parade my... I'm trying to remember my Star is Born song. I'll parade my fishing barrel right beneath your loaded eyes. Though I know it may sound cruel, inconvenient for you and ugly, but I'm too handsome to sit and pine. So you tell me what's a man to do? Get ready for it. When a man done lost all his pride. Oh! As long as, come on guys, with him. Believe me, I can get with anyone. You'll find me laughing in the wind, flanked by Persians and blondes. And I know neither of us wants to spend our time in the spotlight as glamour withers on the vine. You tell me what's a man to do? A man done lost all his pride. Yeah. Let's take one. Let's take a solo. Now imagine I'm a time-traveling Bradley Cooper. It works, right? Yeah. All right, let's bring it home, guys. Let's show Jason Isbell how it's done. I love you, Jason. One more time. Ah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that would have sucked. There is no. I've seen that movie. There's really no place in that movie for that scene. Unless he was like bombing at Coachella or something. The sequel. Now we're talking. All right. That was fun. I think we're going to add that to.
So you can hear like he wrote that song when he was writing songs for I Love You Honey Bear, and that was between his first and second album, and it was when he met his wife. And he'd said in an earlier interview that he wrote so many songs for that second album, and then when he met his wife, he realized like how horrible and fake a lot of the songs were. And he said only like two or three of those songs made it onto the album, and the rest ended up being more kind of self-aware songs and songs about like his idea of love and how it had changed. But he mentioned in that interview, he was like there's this one song that was called "As Long As You Get Yours, Baby, I Can Get Mine," and he was like, and it was just like, he was like, once I realized the song was bad, it was like everything I realized about like what I was trying to do and how I was trying to look. And he was saying that the song just reeked of this like fake cowboy who like just wants to be this like mysterious like dark cowboy guy, which I kind of think is still what Father John
That's what
Misty
he is. Yeah.
So like the idea that like 7 years ago he realized like, oh, this isn't what I'm supposed to be, I'll stop doing this, and then has since continued to do it is hilarious. But so seemingly he ended up finishing that song and submitting it for A Star Is Born, and just when he plays it, it sounds like he was mocking the movie despite having never seen it. Like imagining Jackson Maine singing that is just it would sound like Jackson Maine making fun of himself.
Right. And I mean, the best part to me was the video of the band trying to play, because like they're not smiling or anything.
Right.
They're just completely serious, trying to follow along with this song, and it's just an absolute disaster.
Oh yeah, after the first verse, he does like the come on, come on, everybody, and they're just like, yeah, I don't know if he's gonna keep playing it.
I hope so, and I hope that it doesn't get any more polished.
He did say after, what is he? He's like, cool, very cool.
Yeah, I think he literally says like, this one might stick in the set list.
I hope so. I don't know what's. I'm very excited to see him.
You also made a great Father John Misty joke on
What's
Twitter.
that?
What?
What's that?
A Father John Misty joke?
Yeah, no. What joke did I make?
With the fan, all missed.
Oh,
on the bachelor party.
That was awesome. Yeah, I was at a bar in Charleston, and there's a fan. There were fans everywhere that just said all missed. So the joke I made was the media. What's his secret to a great playlist? Me, all missed.
And then real good. I laughed at it.
I tried to insert a song onto it, because you can do that on Instagram. When you do that, it only did like 1 second. I don't know how to do that, it turns out.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Do you know how to do that?
Yes.
I feel like I've done it before. Whenever I've seen anything that said Waterloo, I've put Waterloo on top of it. But for some reason, that didn't work. What was the other Misty development? Oh, he was an answer on Jeopardy.
Yes.
I think it was Kids Jeopardy or Teen Jeopardy.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wouldn't
did see.
expect a kid to know about.
They called him a
Father John.
tastemaker.
Ooh.
And so
I would.
that's a great thing to be called.
Would you consider him a tastemaker?
No. Not unless your taste is like super weird,
Dark,
super
depression.
asshole
Yeah.
like things.
I would say I don't know if he's a tastemaker, but I mean he writes songs for a lot of the popular artists.
Yeah.
So in that way, he's a tastemaker. I would say for me, he's a taste validator.
That's true. Yeah, he's got
I think that
like street cred.
like people have said that Bible webisodes has like made them feel okay with being who they are and everything like that. Father John Misty makes me feel okay about who I am. Like
That is not
just
good.
like
That is not good.
a weird guy with who certainly has a sense of humor. You can't exactly tell what
When
it
he's
is.
being humorous.
Right. So that's why he's a taste validator for me, because at least with me, I would say that 60% of the time it's pretty clear when I'm joking.
Yeah.
He's like, and I think that that's a bad. I think that it should that kind of alienates people from me. He is like 20% of the time, you're sure. So that makes me feel better that like at least there are people who are worse.
I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. Because
as long as, well, if
he could be saying something really serious and I'd just like laugh uncomfortably and he'd be like, "What's so funny?"
Oh man, have you seen his like infamous rant?
No.
He had that an infamous rant years ago. He was playing a festival and he started to play a song and then stopped and then went on this like long rant. And it was initially about how Trump had just won the Republican nomination, and he's saying all this stuff, and like the reaction is a lot of like uneasy laughter because they can't tell if he's being serious or not. And then he says something like, he's like, I'm not gonna play Bored in the USA today because like this is because I helped create this stupid world that we live in where blah blah, and it was this big rant against how people just need to be stimulated and entertained, and as long as they get that, anything can happen. Like he's basically saying like Trump has risen just by throwing a bunch of stupid stuff out there and by holding our attention, and in the meantime like all this evil is rising. But it's pretty incoherent. If I were there, I absolutely would not like 2 years later when Pure Comedy came out and like I heard all the songs and all the lyrics a million times, I started to kind of understand what he was talking about. I still don't totally understand it. He probably doesn't totally understand it. But that whole rant is just a lot of uneasy laughter. At the beginning, people are like, "Yeah, Father, preach." And by the end, they're like, "I think he's going to kill us."
Yeah, I mean, it would be completely uncomfortable to hang out with him. I will say one of my other takeaways from that video of him playing the "Star Is Born" song is that like that. I think that's the most I've ever heard him speak in like his speaking voice.
Oh yeah,
and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, he. What did he? Like halfway through, he was like personable that set, and halfway through, after one of the songs, he was like, "Everyone's having a good time." And then, like, before he started to play the next song, he was like, "To clarify, that was not me asking, is everyone having a good time? That was just me commenting on the fact that right now everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that we're all enjoying this." And then went on and played the next thing. He also referred to, what did he call Jackson Maine? He said Bradley Cooper's character, Darius Rucker. Classic. That guy. He's a real cut up. You know what can also cut you up is razors.
Oh no!
And you don't want them when you are holding your razor and there's blood everywhere because you're holding your razor the wrong way, and when you hold it really tight, your hand begins to bleed. Fellas, we've all been there. Ladies, we've all been there. So, did you know that the average guy will spend 3,000 hours of his lifetime shaving? Not necessarily. What if he dies young? Don't waste 4 months of your life overpaying for poor performing razors. Get Harry's, a razor that's so sharp you can shave less and will save you money. Just $2 per blade. Now I know what you're thinking. So sharp, that doesn't sound good if you're holding it the wrong way and it cuts open your hand. Wrong. With Harry's, you always hold it the right way. Here's what I love about Harry's: the closeness, the smooth glide, the low price, and that if you're not holding it the wrong way, you are getting out of your shave with clean hands.
Completely safe. FDA approved.
Join the 10 million people who have tried Harry's. Claim your special offer by going to harrys.com/brunch. Harry's founders were two regular guys tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks, like vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like a prop in a sci-fi movie.
All of those things sound super sexual.
Those are just some of the tactics that the leading brand has used to overcharge you for years. Harry's, on the other hand, makes quality, durable blades at a fair price. Just $2 per blade. To keep prices low, they cut out, that's
Ooh,
right,
wow.
the middleman.
Pretty dark.
Harry's bought a world-class blade factory in Germany.
No bad things have ever happened there.
It's a factory that's been making some of the best razor blades in the world for 99 years. And now they provide great quality at factory direct prices with a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they'll give you a full refund. Get a trial set that comes with everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. We're talking weighted ergonomic handle for an easy, clean grip, safe. 5-blade razor with lubricating strip and trimmer blade for a close shave, rich lathering shave gel that'll leave you smelling great, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Listeners of Brunch can redeem their free trial set at harrys.com/brunch. Make sure you go to harrys.com/brunch to redeem your offer and let them know that we sent you to support the show. Pretty neat.
Good stuff, man.
Pretty clean.
You nailed it. Yeah. You wanted to talk about summer looks.
Oh, yeah. Summer looks. What are you doing for summer looks?
Going back to blonde, that's for sure.
Nice.
It's coming.
I'm still not positive that you're not blonde.
That's what everybody says, and it's so annoying. My hair is clearly brunette right now. It's clearly brown.
I don't know. Because my hair is brown, and it's
No,
a
your
lot
hair is,
darker
like,
than
black.
yours. Yeah, but no, there's no such thing as black hair.
All right, well, you've got dark brown hair. I've got light brown hair. Light brown is not the same as
So what would you?
blonde.
So light brown. What would you, that looks an awful lot like what?
It's not blonde. Blonde to me is like straight up blonde.
Yes, but I supported your blonde look.
Well,
I
you
don't-
supported a second time.
Yes, I don't really know what I'm doing summer look wise. I'll say that right now, my hair has probably. I'm enjoying my hair the most I ever have. Like I rarely think that it looks terrible.
It's got a lot of character.
Yeah. I don't know what to do about facial hair though, because
I
right
liked-
now.
I liked the mustache, but I don't think that you can have the mustache and the hair, if like in a non-ironic way.
Right. In a non-pure comedy Father John Misty
Yes.
costume kind of way. I've thought about the mustache again, but I think that I need to take like a 2-year break from a mustache.
Ooh, that's a long break.
Because I always do mustaches for like periods of time. I'm afraid that if I completely shave, right now I've just got like a bad beard going. If I completely shave, what if that makes the hair look bad?
Yeah, I sort of like what you've got going on now. It's like they complement each other.
I think that I'm just gonna keep the beard, even though like I have a historically bad beard.
It's not that bad.
And the more it grows now, the more I realize I have quite a few gray hairs in the beard.
Who cares?
It's a weird look when you like. I would say that I have like 100 total beard hairs.
That's fair. Yeah,
And if 2 of them are
one of my goals in life is to go gray, not necessarily like full gray, but I would love to be a salt and pepper guy.
Salt and pepper is just a terrific look. Speaking of which, they showed Harrison Ford at a thing. I was watching some extra thing or whatever, and I was going to remark like, "Wow, Harrison Ford looks great as an old guy," but then I realized Harrison Ford has always been
An old
right?
guy. Yeah,
Oh,
and
he's definitely
always been an old guy too.
He's
A
always
babe
been
and an old guy.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. That guy was 90.
I don't think that I would call him a babe anymore.
His
He's
hair
too
looks
old.
so good.
Oh, really?
Can you be too old to be a babe? I think that Sam Elliott still looks good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. How old is Sam Elliott though? Like 70?
70s, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Harrison Ford, I think he definitely can still be considered a babe just because of like the aura that he carries around.
Yeah.
But like just looks wise, he's not necessarily a babe.
Has Harrison Ford ever done anything wrong? Because I'm always cautious with Harrison Ford just because I feel like he and Mel Gibson have kind of served a lot of the same purpose over the years.
They've just hung around too close together.
Yeah, even though, like, for all I know, they've never even met each other before. But, right, like, Harrison Ford and Mel Gibson have done a lot of the same stuff.
I guess.
Like, if you're casting a movie, you'd say, like, hey, I want a Harrison Ford or a Mel Gibson type.
Yeah, I think that at this point, Harrison Ford is, like, well above that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it probably helps that Mel Gibson had his fall from grace. Like, Mel Gibson did Daddy's Home, too.
Well, I would
You
not
think
say that's Mel Gibson's fall from grace. I would say Mel Gibson's behavior is Mel Gibson's fall.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Mel Gibson's fall from grace led him to having to take lesser projects like Daddy's Home 2.
I forgot that he was in Daddy's Home 2.
Yes. Do you think could you ever imagine Harrison Ford wasting his time with Daddy's Home 2?
No, what bad stuff has Harrison Ford done? I can only really think of Harrison Ford as, like, when I think of Harrison Ford, I think of The Fugitive.
Yes, I was going to say, when I think of Harrison Ford, I think of, like, TNT movies on, like, that are just constantly replayed.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
But even then, as I say these, I'm like, wait, is this a Harrison Ford movie or a Mel Gibson movie? Untouchables, let us know. Do you ever get Harrison Ford and Mel Gibson confused? I think that's me being a little problematic against white guys after I said
it's true.
It's shallow to compare Taylor Swift to Carly Rae Jepsen.
It's true. It's problematic of you.
Also, Carly Rae Jepsen, Canadian. Taylor Swift, Pennsylvania.
So, both not from the U.S.
My mommy, Pennsylvania. My daddy, Pennsylvania. You take the pencil with the Vania. I'm from Pennsylvania. My favorite meme ever.
What the fuck is that?
When she put out the still of, like, the "Look What You Made Me Do" video coming, and it looked like she was clearly trying to rip off Formation, and it said, "My mommy, Pennsylvania. My daddy, Pennsylvania. You take the pencil with the Vania. I'm from Pennsylvania."
Oh God. All right. Should we talk some downsizing?
Fine. You go ahead. Like, the floor is yours. I saw it, and I hated it so much that this conversation is going to end up being you filling me in on the rest, because I didn't finish the movie. It was so bad, I just had to jump out.
Yeah, all right. Before we get to downsizing, which, by the way, is a Patreon review, so you can't listen to it unless you're a Patreon subscriber. Patreon.com/listen to brunch. We've got some good stuff on there. The music playlist, by the way, I've been building that out.
Nice.
I've just been adding random stuff. So if you want to get access to that, subscribe to the Patreon, please. And if you also want to get away, you could travel with Away, because they are a team of thinkers, seekers, and designers. Away suitcases are unbelievable. I own one. It's very, very awesome. It is a luxurious piece of travel thing.
Travel box.
It is a luxurious travel box. So the Away company uses high-quality materials while offering a much lower price compared to other brands. They cut out the middlemen and sell directly to you. It sounds like there are a lot of talk of cutting out the middlemen these days. You can choose from 9 colors and sizes.
Tough times for the middlemen.
Yes. Won't anybody think of the middlemen?
Yeah.
There are nine colors and 4 sizes. They come on the carry-on, the bigger carry-on, the medium, or the large. And the key design features: all suitcases are made with premium German polycarbonate. German, man, wow! What a day for cutting out the middleman and finding stuff from Germany. They use premium German polycarbonate, unrivaled in strength and impact resistant, and it's very lightweight. The interior features a patent-pending compression system, which is helpful for overpackers, and if you're not overpacking, you don't know what you're doing. 4 360-degree spinning wheels guarantee a smooth ride. It's TSA approved with a combination lock built into the top of the bag to prevent theft. They also come with removable, washable laundry bags that keep dirty clothes separate from the clean ones, which is big when you're traveling. Both sizes of the carry-on are able to charge all cell phones, tablets, e-readers, and anything else anything else that's powered by a USB cord. A single charge of the Away carry-on charger will be able to charge your iPhone 5 times. The Away luggage also comes with a lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they'll fix it or replace it for you for life. You can go out and get a 100-day trial. Live with it, vibe with it, travel with it, Instagram it. If at any point you decide it's not for you, return it for a full refund. No questions asked. Free shipping on any Away orders within the lower 48 states. And all the carry-on sizes are compliant with U.S. major airlines while maximizing the amount you can pack. We have, I keep saying we. We do not have Away suitcases.
No, we don't.
I have an Away suitcase.
We have Away suitcases like we observed Taylor Swift's
Yes.
rollout strategy.
Yes, I have an Away suitcase. I love it. I would highly recommend it. So
Must
if you
be
want
nice.
to, if you want to jump on board,
Hey, idiot! You don't even need to charge your phone 5 times. Just charge it once. Then it's full.
you're just bitter that you are constantly. You have constantly tried to get an Away
How can you
suitcase.
tell?
Yeah, right. DJ has failed to get his Away suitcase, but you can go get yours by going to awaytravel.com/brunch and using the promo code brunch. That gets you $20 off a suitcase. That's awaytravel.com/brunch using promo code brunch to get your suitcase.
I have
DJ,
such a
you
good
want
tagline for them that I'm not going to use because they're a sponsor.
well, that has never stopped you before.
No,
But please don't do it because I like Away Travel and I
Cool.
want them to stay sponsoring the show. So again,
I like
DJ,
them too. Would
DJ,
love it if they
listen,
liked me back.
DJ, listen up. If you want $20 off your Away suitcase, go to awaytravel.com/brunch using promo code brunch at checkout.
Here's before we get into downsizing. Here's the thing that I want to bring up with summer looks. I'd like some new bathing suits. That's right. I'd like multiple new bathing suits.
Same.
Here's what I want though. I have like a very specific look in mind, and I can't really find it for under like $300. So if Away or somebody wants to start making them, that'd be great. I just want a bathing suit that looks like shorts and has a button. I'd like some like zip up button bathing suit. I think that'd be quite nice.
What if we made them?
Probably wouldn't come out great.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I wish that we could design clothes. That would be cool.
Like, did you watch How to Make It in America?
No.
They did that in How to Make It in America. That was a great show.
I would love to just be able to make my own clothes. It seems like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I'd be a seamstress.
Yeah. And then our band would have a seamstress.
Find a band that needs a helping hand.
Yeah,
That's,
I want new swim trunks as well. I like the idea of calling them swim trunks rather than bathing suits. I want ones that just come well above the knee.
Right. So you're probably looking at some 7-inchers. That's what I want. I
Yes.
want like
Everybody wants a 7-incher.
Yeah. I want some. I don't know. They just don't exist though. I've like looked kind of a lot, and you can find them on some ridiculous websites that are like $225.
We still talking about bathing suits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bathing suits aren't supposed to be. The dick joke was just like a.
It was a throwaway, but I had a
Yeah.
nice chance to make it another one, double down.
What was it going to be?
I just did. I said, are you still talking about?
Oh, okay.
Still talking about bathing suits? You're talking about you've looked everywhere for a 7-incher. You go on the internet and you can only buy one for $225.
Nice. There was something on Amazon the other day that was very phallic. I forget what that was, but yeah, that's another dick joke for you. Yeah. Why haven't like swimsuits evolved to look sleek and modern and cool? Why do they always have to be baggy little like? Yeah.
I feel like
tutus. I
if
hate 'em.
anything, bathing suits are going in the wrong direction. Or
Why?
They
What
have
are they
been
doing?
going in the wrong direction. Like they're just getting longer.
They
getting
getting
like
fatter?
more patterns. Like a lot of pockets. Like
My issue is just like
keep it simple.
I don't want them necessarily skin tight, but they just like they're poofy and they're wrinkly and they're stupid. And I ain't swimming unless I'm looking good. Why won't they?
I ain't swimming unless I'm styling.
Right. I ain't swimming
Boom.
unless I'm styling. That's the brunch promise of 2019. So if anybody wants to point me in the right direction, why aren't there cool looking swimsuits? I don't know. Like I don't know what kind of swimsuits they wore in Mad Men, but I'm thinking that if they were to shoot Mad Men right now, what kind of swimsuits would they wear? I would think they would be some straight
thigh highs.
not fat, not poofy, just solid color with a zipper and a button on top. That's what I'm trying to wear in a swimsuit.
What's your favorite swimsuit right now that you own?
I have 3. I have a purple one that's okay, but the rope, the string, again, I don't want a string in a bathing suit. It's got kind of sucked into itself. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where it's lost in the
right.
waistband.
So I'm not going to wear that ever again.
Oh man, that's tough.
That stinks. And then I have a black one that's just like your normal stupid poofy one. And then I've got an okay. It's like a. It's like a peach colored. It's like a peach and blue gingham one. That's probably my only cool one.
All right. My favorite swim trunks are they're like baby blue. They're like just above the, not just above the knee, but like a few inches above the knee. Great length. When you jump in the water,
Ooh, they change color?
They don't change color, but they reveal.
They get wet.
Yeah, they reveal. Yes, they get wet, and they reveal anchors.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool thing, and it's fun to play with because like once the bathing suit dries, it goes back to solid baby blue, and then if you take like a handful of water, you just throw it on your swim trunks, and you'll have some anchors.
Anton Hedobin had a goalie mask like that, and he was very excited to show us it. He said,
that's
"Hey,
so stupid.
you guys want to see something cool?" We were like, "This better be cool." And he took his new mask, poured some water on it, and it did. It revealed anchors or whatever it was on.
Like, what's the purpose of that? You don't play goalie while submerged in water. They spray the water bottle on there.
You spray the water bottle all over your mask and your face.
It just seems like a pointless feature.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a backup goalie.
That's true.
Just trying to have some fun.
All right.
Yeah, on downsizing, that was legitimately... that movie was so bad that I wasn't even interested to see how it finished. All the characters stunk. Somebody said when I said, hey, this movie's the worst, someone said, oh, well, so-and-so is in it, and she's great. Well, not in this movie she wasn't, because nobody was good in that movie.
No, definitely not. And
Christoph Waltz, who I normally
the
like.
The biggest waste of Christoph Waltz. It's insane. I have strong thoughts on downsizing. I had gone into it. I saw it like about a month ago. I'll say that. I went into it knowing that it was pretty heavily criticized and that it kind of flopped, and it had a pretty big promotional rollout campaign. Like, it was somewhat hyped, and it came out. If I remember correctly, it came out at in movie season.
Oh, really?
Late in the year, yeah.
Who was expecting stuff?
Yeah, and so I was like, I'll give it a shot. Maybe people had been like too critical of it. I watched it. I strongly believe that movie, pound for pound, is the biggest piece of shit that's ever been made.
Yeah, I think
like,
it's worse than The Snowman. Like, because the Snowman and Bohemian Rhapsody and like really bad movies we've seen, there are things you can point to. You can say, oh, well, like The Snowman, there was apparently a money problem, and they never finished making the movie.
And at least during The Snowman, while you're watching it, you're like, ah, man, this is pretty bad. But like,
right.
I hope that they kind of like bring it together, and
right.
it just never goes anywhere. And you're like, ah, man, that sucked. Watching Downsizing, I was actively being like, what the fuck is happening?
And it just
right
keeps
now?
taking on new directions.
Yes,
they make it worse and worse and worse. The only thing that I was even remotely interested in halfway was a potential love story between Matt Damon and a girl that he helps with physical therapy. And that was it. I was like, do they end up kissing or something? And then they kissed, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, I don't
now
care
what?
if they have
Yeah.
sex. So whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like another thing that makes me really, really fucking mad about this movie is that it is completely not the movie that it was advertised to be.
What was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be about downsizing, and just like you would imagine that like it's about Matt Damon's life after downsizing, and just like
by downsizing he means he gets made into a miniature person.
Right. And like he lives in a miniature community, and I figured that it would be about life in that miniature community and some of like the troubles that come with transitioning and just adapting, and maybe the relationship between actual fucking real life big people and the downsized people, and how they coexist together in this like new world. They completely fucking abandon like even the premise of downsizing halfway through the movie.
Oh yeah, at first when they're about to downsize, a guy raises the point. He's like, "Hey, do you think that once you're small, that you should be able to vote as much as normal-sized people? You are not helping the economy. You're not participating in a lot of the things that the country kind of needs. Downsizing is basically a means for these people to just everything becomes way, 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 way cheaper, because instead of living in a house that costs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, you're living in like a dollhouse, which probably costs like $200 or something
right.
like that. So everything is way cheaper. Food is way cheaper because you're barely putting any food in your body. So it's just a means of like, hey, this is a way of living much cheaper, but there are some obstacles that can be presented. Again, like the relationship with normal-sized humans. And you're right, they just get rid of that completely. He's gonna become small, is what they call it, with his wife, Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig decides to not do it. He ends up going through with it, and she not knowing that she bails. And so then he's just kind of by himself.
I knew that was part of it. I knew that he goes through with it and she didn't. I knew that heading into the movie, but I didn't expect them to handle it as poorly as they did. So again, once you get halfway through the movie, she decides not to do it. And
no, that's like 25 minutes into the movie.
I think it's probably like a little bit.
So much, like pretty much, and maybe not 25 minutes, but I would say at most,
it wasn't
40
halfway.
minutes.
So yeah, it wasn't halfway. But
and the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Way too fucking long.
Yeah.
So I knew that she was not going to downsize. I did not know that she would just be completely taken out of the movie.
Right.
Which, are you fucking kidding me? And again, it was advertised
it's
as
a bait and switch. They tell you Damon and
Kristen Wiig and Jason Sudeikis.
Right, and then you get Damon and Waltz.
And it's built up as like this comedy. And like some like the trials and tribulations of downsizing, and
yeah, it could have been like
they get rid of Kristen Wiig, who is like one of the biggest comedy like draws in that movie, and Jason Sudeikis, who's the second biggest comedy draw in that movie, and they both just like dispatch them less than an hour into the movie. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the comedic draw I think the movie feels it has is that there's a Vietnamese woman who tries to escape something, and she's living in that community, and she sneaks in through a TV box, and all the people that she tries to defect with die, and she ends up having her leg amputated, and it's this big thing, and she lives in this horrible community, and she doesn't really speak English, and they're really trying to play up the comedy of like, this woman doesn't speak English, she's an immigrant.
Yeah, it kind of feels
like, are
racist.
we supposed to be laughing at this? So that's really confusing. And then that ends up kind of being like the whole movie that or at least from what I saw, because I ended up quitting with like half hour left, 40 minutes left.
All right, and let me read you the synopsis here for Downsizing, which, by the way, a 5.7 on IMDb,
That is so high.
a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, still way too high, and a 63% on Metacritic.
That is
insanely
so
high.
Yeah.
There's no way that this movie should be above a 15%.
Like, what's Peppermint? Because Peppermint was better than this movie. I think Peppermint's super low. I think the Peppermint's like 12.
Peppermint, a 6.5 on IMDb, a 13 on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 29 on Metacritic.
Okay, Peppermint's better than this movie.
Yes. So Downsizing, here's a synopsis. When scientists discover how to shrink humans to 5 inches tall as a solution to overpopulation, Paul and his wife, Audrey, decide to abandon their stressed lives in order to get small and move to a new downsized community, a choice that triggers life-changing adventures. Again,
Adventures.
the two characters mentioned in that synopsis are Paul, who's played by Matt Damon, and Audrey, his wife, played by Kristen Wiig. Nowhere in that mention is Christoph Waltz or any other character that comprises the entire second half of the movie.
Who would you say is the second lead of that movie?
The Vietnamese
woman. Yes. Yeah. Right. And
not even built.
I didn't hear anything about that.
And it's fucking infuriating. It's because and one of the most infuriating parts is that I felt like the movie had promise in the first half, or not the first half, again, like the first 20 to 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was what it was billed as.
Yeah.
And I was interested in that first 40 minutes. It was like an interesting premise, and I thought they were going to go somewhere with it. They completely did not. After that point, it becomes almost like a full movie about like climate change.
Oh, really?
Yes. It becomes about climate change, and like I know that that's part of it because it's like the big motivational factor for downsizing was the elimination of like human waste.
Yeah.
And so sure, that can be part of it. But god damn, they completely build it as something other than a climate change movie.
So what happens in the last like 40 minutes?
What's the last thing that you saw?
I don't know, because I probably wasn't listening anymore for watching. I probably had it on and wasn't looking for the last like 20 minutes I watched.
So they find out that
He goes to the original small community.
Yes. And they find out there at the original small community that the world is going to end like fairly soon.
Okay.
And so what they find out is that original small community built another community basically underground, and what they're going to do is like that
Tethered.
Yes. That community will be safe from the apocalypse, but they have to go live in that like underground community and separate themselves from the world for like the next 50 years or 100 years or however long they have to like establish a community underground and live there. So they basically have to further remove the small people have to basically further remove themselves from society and from the world in this other community. And Matt Damon says that he's going to do it because he feels like that's his purpose on the earth, is that like he was going to help create the next wave of like humans.
Real sad sack, this character. By the way.
Complete fucking
Totally looking
loser.
for a purpose.
Yes. And he ultimately makes a decision to go underground and then changes his mind at the last second, runs back out to Christoph Waltz and the Vietnamese woman, and then they live happily ever after, and the movie ends. Fucking so stupid.
So he doesn't go
No.
do the good thing for the world.
Doesn't serve his purpose, no.
Man,
It's a complete waste of fucking time. It's insane.
it's really bad. Like there it's not funny. It's not. You think like, oh, what's it rated R for? There's a scene where when they're about to shrink the people, they walk through and a bunch of guys are lying down on gurneys, and they're naked. So like there's like they gloss over a few penises. And that's why the movie's rated R.
Yep.
Unless something happens in those last
No.
hour, like
Nothing.
they're not swearing. There is that movie, man. Talk about between it's billed as a comedy, so not a comedy.
Right.
It's rated R, and you're like, oh well, at least maybe there will be some like challenging scenes. Like, nope, they just show a penis once or something. That movie. Brutal.
And you mentioned the fact that it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. There is so much wasted time in that movie of
God.
just things that have no relevance to what's going on. He spends about 20 minutes hitting the dating scene with this woman who is brutally boring.
Oh yeah, the woman from what's it called? She's in a lot of stuff, but she's in Love.
Yes, correct. Yeah. She brings nothing to the table.
Yep.
And their relationship makes no sense. They basically have nothing in common.
It's just such a forced, like middle-aged people.
Yeah.
We both happen to be single,
and
dating.
they break up when she says like, I don't want you to meet my kid.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that relationship. Then there's like a 20-minute party scene with Christoph Waltz's character. Doesn't really serve much of a purpose. It's just there is no real direction of this movie. It continuously changes, and it is, again, I think that it's the biggest piece of shit that's ever been made, all things considered, with like the budget, with the cast, with the promotional campaign, with just like the promise that everything that this movie had, and just completely abandoned.
Nothing could save this movie. There was a scene in it where, so before they shrink you down, they shave all of the hair off your body. And 66% of men actually start to lose their hair by age 35. Once you've noticed that thinning hair, Matt Damon, it can be too late. Is that hairline slowly starting to move backwards? Any bald spots yet? Best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have time. It's time to get a handle on those precious locks. I ask you, you want a bald spot to pop up on your hairline? You want your hairline to start receding? Or you want to do something about it first? Why do guys turn to weird solutions or do nothing when they can turn to medicine and science? The solution is forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims is helping guys be the best version of themselves with licensed physicians and FDA-approved products to help treat hair loss. I'm not talking snake oil pills. I'm not talking gas station counter supplements. I'm talking prescription solutions backed by science. Hims was created by a guy who knows some men's health conversations are easier online than in person. Not if it gets on the dark web, but we'll get to that later. No more awkward in-person doctor's visits or long pharmacy lines. Forums connects you to real doctors online, which could save you hours. It's completely confidential and discreet. You just answer a few questions and a doctor will review, and if they determine it's right for you, they can prescribe you medication to treat hair loss that is shipped directly to your door. Get the hair loss treatment everyone's talking about. It's featured in GQ, Men's Health, Esquire, Brunch, Playboy, just to name a few. Order now. Brunch listeners can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for just $5 today right now while supplies last. See website for full details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy somewhere else. Go to forhims.com/brunch. That's FORHIMS.com/brunch. Forhims.com/brunch.
Damn. So I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for downsizing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm finding out some several things. Reese Witherspoon was originally attached to the project with Paul Giamatti and Sacha Baron Cohen.
Who Sacha Baron Cohen would have been Christoph Waltz.
Yeah. Paul Giamatti must have been Matt Damon's character.
Paul Giamatti's the lead,
right? Which would have been
unless what's Reese Witherspoon is Matt Damon.
That could be true as well. I cannot imagine
That's more
Paul
realistic,
Giamatti getting over Reese Witherspoon.
I could do like 1/8 of a movie of Paul Giamatti if he's playing Kristen Wiig. I could do that.
It was later announced that Alec Baldwin, Neil Patrick Harris, and Jason Sudeikis had joined the cast, though Baldwin later dropped out. I forgot that Neil Patrick Harris was
Neil
actually
Patrick
in this movie.
Harris was good in it in such a sloppy way that I couldn't tell, like, did they just make this movie poorly or is his part supposed to be sloppy?
I think it was supposed to be sloppy.
I watched that a couple times.
Also mentioned is Margot Martindale, which
Who's that?
I feel like I've heard that name so many times recently, and people are just talking about Margot Martindale all the time now.
It's everywhere. It's the real buzz about Margot What? I've never heard that name before.
Really? Yeah. Now that I've never heard it like before about a month ago, and I feel like I've heard it every single week since then. And I think that she's just somebody who pops up in a lot of things because it says among the smaller roles and cameos are Margot Martindale as a miniaturized woman on a shuttle bus. That's just like a line in the Wikipedia thing. So I think that she's probably just like a bit actress who is in a ton of shit.
Very good move on going back and seeing who was once attached to the project. That's always fun to do.
It is.
When you see a movie.
Yeah.
Especially
when you get to point at those people and say, hey, good fucking job. You avoided a disaster.
Right. Speaking of, you mentioned the like forced relationship of Matt Damon and the woman from Love. Saw a great tweet today about relationships. And it's serious. Yeah, sex is great. But have you ever experienced the pure joy that comes with finally getting over someone you had feelings for and the realization that you don't care what they have to say anymore? First of all, that sounds like whoever wrote it has not gotten over the person they had feelings for. And it reads like, man, if I can just get over this person, it will be so great. Maybe even better than sex.
But yeah, I mean, if you are thinking about the person, you're not over them. Like,
totally.
The entirety of getting over somebody is not thinking about them.
Yeah, the only time that I've been like, wow, I'm completely over this person is like when they come up or something, and it's always so far removed. Like getting over somebody, at least for my crazy ass, is a lot like getting off a medication. Where, like, yeah, you can stop taking it, but it's still in your system for, say, like 60 days, something like that. But you extrapolate that to mean whatever it would mean in terms of getting over a person. So, like, even when you're like, okay, I've moved on and stuff, in your body, you're still not totally over them.
Right.
Like, if you ran into them, you'd still probably be thrown for a loop or something like that. But, yeah. This stuff always makes me laugh. Like just the idea that this tweet, I quote tweeted it with like, hell yeah, I'm here for indifference is better than sex takes, which is basically what the person is saying. Like, hey, sex is great, but you know what's better?
Not caring about things?
Not feeling something. Like, okay.
Like, what kind of sex are you having?
Right.
That's basically my take to all of these. Like, hey, sex is great.
Sex is great, but let me
Like,
tell
what?
you how little sex means to me.
Right. Are you having it? Because no.
We should start putting those out there. We should be like, yeah, sex is great, but have you ever... Actually, someone sent me one. It was very funny. Like one time I was having like a really rough time. Like I needed water more than anything in the world. And someone sent me something that said like, yeah, sex is great, but have you ever had a glass of water? And I thought that was hilarious. Just saying like the lamest or like the most like basic thing in the world is better than sex. I don't have like any good funny examples, but we should for sure be like, yeah, sex is great, but you ever put like a really thin slice of tomato on a sandwich? Just makes it a little better.
It's pretty good feeling though. A really thin tomato.
Yeah. Or no, actually, I don't know what to mock more: the "yeah, sex is great" culture, or this one's for people who finally have gotten over X. Both those are really dumb. You know what the dumbest is though? It's really becoming huge now. Someone put out a story, Richard Deitch, whatever.
Deitch, yeah.
He was like, I asked 10 people for their best stories about a time they were doubted. This is becoming a huge thing where people are coming forth and saying that one time they were doubted and now they've proven that person wrong. We're all supposed to be doubted.
We've all been alive for like at least 20 years.
Someone is supposed to doubt you, and also at a lot of times in your life, you're supposed to be doubted. Like
Right.
if someone says, like, "Hey, you're not that great at this yet," there's a good possibility
You're
that you're
not.
not that great at it
Right.
yet. Bomani Jones had a thing a while ago, like once this was starting to really blow up, saying like, a lot of people doubted me when I wasn't good enough yet, and I'm glad they did. They're not bad people for doubting me. But this whole thing, man, it's all part of this like every person other than you is a bad person culture we've created. That like if somebody doubts you, if a teacher says like you're not doing well enough or you're not trying, or like unless it's like the Jaylen Brown thing where a person, one of his teachers said like, I bet you end up in jail.
Yeah.
Where it's like
there's a huge gap between doubt and being like a fucking asshole and like
Right.
just rejecting somebody.
Yeah. If you are doubted, I hope that it feels bad and that it hurts and that it motivates you and that you, I don't know, like what are we supposed to feel? That we're all like the best and that we've...
I mean, it's the participation trophy argument where it's just like sometimes you have to lose.
Yeah. Did you jump on Burt Beer, by the way? Everybody did.
I jumped on him and I said the trophy clearly says champions. Because
It did say champion,
Yeah. I was like, that's all I wrote. And then afterwards, somebody had pointed out to me that like there's glue in the picture, so he's
Yeah.
clearly trying to put it back together. And so, like, expert job of trolling by Burt Breer. So, congratulations to him.
The internet is so mean to Burt Breer.
It
The
is.
internet is the internet is hellbent on turning Burt Breer into like Donald Trump, which is so funny because Burt Breer is he's like the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. He did a lot of like honest reporting on the Colin Kaepernick situation. So I think that like he kind of brought forward a lot of things that that didn't serve people's arguments best. So I think that people decided that he was kind of an asshole. But he's so not an asshole. And this whole participation trophy thing was so funny because as you said, like if you cared enough to really look into it, you could see that it was a broken trophy that his wife actually was gluing back together because he ended up telling the story on the Rich Eisen show or something, but one of his sons broke the other one's trophy. So as they're gluing it back together, he posted it with like dad, like father of the year. I forget what else he said.
It was hashtag play like a champion,
Play
hashtag
like a
father of
champion.
the year.
Yeah, but even so, like even if a person had broken their 4-year-old child's participation trophy, that doesn't make them a bad dad or like a bad person. I mean, it's a stupid whatever move, but the whole participation trophy thing and that anybody cares about it either way, is so
Well, I
stupid to me.
I mean, I sort of disagree there. Like, if you're breaking your fucking kid's trophy, your 4-year-old's trophy.
But like, say he did that as say he was like, this will be a funny tweet. Like, this kid is like, doesn't even like, he's not retaining any of this. He doesn't care. This will be a funny joke.
But who's to say that the kid is not retaining any of that? Like,
because he's too young to retain it.
Yeah, but he's old enough and like he's there enough to be upset by it. If it actually does negatively affect him for like not like traumatically, but like if he's bothered by it,
yeah, then it's a
he
mean
does
thing to
have
do, and
he does have a chance to retain it because you do remember like childhood traumas like that. So like if you're being an asshole to your kid, your own 4-year-old kid for like the sake of internet points, so the internet can be like a section of the internet can be like, oh, what a hero.
Yeah, but you're not getting internet points there. You're doing that to
you're not getting
the
internet
only people
points
who care
from
about
certain
the only people who care about the participation trophy argument are the people who get mad when people complain about participation trophies.
Not necessarily. I do think there is like a segment of the internet and people who are like, yeah, fuck participation trophies.
Well, those people are idiots anyway because participation trophies have always existed.
Basically, yeah.
Like people,
youth sports are founded on participation
at the end of every year, there's either a banquet or there's a something,
right.
And they give you, depending on how much your town's dues cost,
right.
You're either getting one of those ribbons, the red, white, and blue ribbon with the
right.
like very fake gold thing on it, and then it's a picture of whatever sport it is, or they have a banquet and you get a trophy.
Right. It's not always been a trophy, but there's always been like participation rewards or awards.
Yes. Yeah, totally. It's basically, again, like you have to pay, or your parents have to pay dues for you to play whatever sport. That's like the little thing you get back. It's like the bottle return
yes,
thing. You get like 5 cents back after paying $1 for it. But yeah, the people that were lining up to tell Bert like what a bad guy he was like, oh man, this is just peak Twitter.
And I'm not necessarily like against like the hey participation trophies suck argument, but like you got to draw a line somewhere.
I'm
like,
so indifferent.
You can't like punk your 4-year-old and like make your 4-year-old cry just to like prove a stupid fucking point that won't even be received until he's older anyway. Like, wait until the kid's 7, 8, 9 years old before giving him the lesson. Like, hey, sometimes you got to fucking lose.
It's just so funny that there's like that was never even these are things that didn't exist before Twitter. Like, it was never even a thought. When I would get my participation trophies as a kid, and I'm an old man, I'm 31 years old. Like, I'm like supposed to be in the range of people who are saying, oh, in my day there weren't participation trophies. But there were. People just decided that they didn't exist. But I promise, at the end of everything you played, they gave you something, whether it was ice cream, whether it was you got something just for showing up and being there. But it was never a thought. And like, I'm sure that in the 90s when I grew up, there were parents and there were parents of kids that I played with who had like very hard ideals and values that right now, if they were raised, if Twitter existed back then and there were this section of people who didn't like participation trophies, they'd say, oh yeah, I'm going to break this. But they never even thought to. They never even thought to because Twitter didn't exist, and every little stupid thought we had didn't have some sort of microphone.
Right. Hey, how's this? Yeah, sex is great, but have you ever broken your 4-year-old's participation trophy?
Oh, that's terrific. Away. Maybe we'll even give you stuff.